Welcome to 5 and 5 from One Stop Co-op Shop, where we discuss 5 key elements of a game in about 5 minutes. I'm Michael Kelly, and today we're looking at Black Sonata from Side Room Games. Quick disclaimer that I was sent a review copy of this game. Black Sonata is a solitaire game of hidden movement and deduction where you try to unmask the identity of Shakespeare's famous Dark Lady. Quick note before we get to the list. Keep watching after the review to see my thoughts on the upcoming Fair Youth expansion that adds more content to the game. And if you'd like to see the game in action, both Colin and Bernd have full playthroughs of the game, and I also have a playthrough on the channel now with the expansion content added in. But enough of all that, let's get to the game. We're going to start off with a mix, and that's the variety and variability within the game. On the positive side, the game gives you lots of levers to tweak the difficulty of the game. You can make it tougher to determine who the Dark Lady is, give yourself less time or fewer chances to identify her, and you can even change the route she uses to move through the city, making her move on to a new location each turn or sometimes stay in place. But on the negative side, if you strip that all the way, this is basically a game of just moving and looking for the Dark Lady over and over again, so it can feel a little bit samey. But that goes right into my number 4, a pro, which is how accessible and quick to play the game is. Except in rare cases, the only actions you'll use on your turn are to move, to search for the Dark Lady, or to stay in place. And the Dark Lady's turn, if you can call it that, is simply to move one card from the top of her stealth deck to the bottom, incredibly quick. The game's small and portable, it's pretty quick to set up, except the stealth deck takes a minute, and overall it's incredibly easy to learn or teach. But we move from a pro to a full-on con with my number 3, kind of related to my number 5, and that's the fact that some locations in the game have too much of an impact. As the Dark Lady moves around, all you can see is what type of location she's currently occupying out of 7 types. But because of the way the board and the locations are laid out, certain types are much easier to track down the Dark Lady than others. This means that often you'll be finding her in the exact same locations game after game after game. It also means that sometimes your best move is just to sit on one of those key locations for several turns in a row until she just wanders your way. My number 2 is a mix, but one that leans pro for me, and that's the deductive element of using the clue cards to figure out who the Dark Lady is. Each clue card will show one possible Dark Lady, 3 characteristics about her, and how her characteristics relate to other Dark Ladies in other suits. On the negative side, the difficulty of these cards can be really swingy. You might have an incredibly easy time finding the Dark Lady, or have to get way more cards than usual. But I'll note that the difficulty settings actively take out cards that would make it too easy or too hard, so you don't have to worry about that too much if you don't play on normal difficulty. The other possible concern is that there's only 12 Dark Lady cards, only 2 in each suit, and they only have 3 icons on them, so theoretically, if you wanted to, it wouldn't be that hard to memorize several of them. Now, I would never try to do that, why ruin your own fun, but maybe some people's brains will just work that way, I don't know. But on the positive, and again, this is the way that I lean, I really enjoy figuring out the deduction. I love little logic puzzles like this where I have to try things out and eliminate possibilities. It's just a lot of fun. But we are going to end on a huge pro, this game's main claim to fame, and that is the stealth mechanic and the act of searching for the Dark Lady. So just the concept of having a pre-ordered stealth deck that thematically matches her routine as she walks around the city of London is a lot of fun and works really well. But beyond that, the mechanics and production to have the location cards with little holes in them and actually look in there and see if you see the Dark Lady's silhouette, it is such a little rush of excitement each time you do it and really adds to the fun and enjoyment of the game. Overall, Black Sonata won't appeal to everyone. It is all about deduction, tracking down the Dark Lady, eliminating possibilities, and if that's not your jam, that's pretty much all the game has to offer. But within that design space, it has a lot of really unique and interesting mechanics, and I love that you can really vary the difficulty to match your needs easily. And the game is small and fairly inexpensive, so if the mechanics or the theme appeal to you, I would definitely check it out. And even though this is a solitaire-only game, I actually played it with my wife and sort of discussed our moves and what the possible identity of the Dark Lady could be. And it was honestly a lot of fun, so if you think someone you care about would be interested in doing that with you, you could sort of make this a cooperative game too. Alright, now on to the expansion. This is going to push us past 5 minutes, but hey, I want to share my thoughts. Overall, I think this is a slam dunk. Basically, every mix or con I had in the review can be fixed or adjusted by one of the modules in the expansion. If some locations are too powerful or you feel like you're sitting around too much, add in the Fair Youth or the Rendezvous or a rival poet charging at you every turn, and you'll be forced to move around and explore more locations than you ever have before. If you feel like the game's too easy or too potentially solvable, add in the tougher Dark Ladies, and really add in the Rendezvous cards because I have found those incredibly challenging and it'll change the game a lot. But the best module for me is without a doubt the Fair Youth, the one that it's named after, because it gives you another thing to search for, it gives you extra actions to take on your turn so you don't feel like you're ever just wasting your time. And it really challenges you to dash around London trying to catch the Dark Lady, but also catch this Fair Youth. It's just a lot of fun and really ups the tension of the game. And a great thing with this expansion is that they have easier and harder options throughout, so you can really mix and match things to create the exact game experience you want and really change up the feeling of the game each time you play. So would I say the expansion is required? Definitely not. I stand by my review that this is a great solo game and you can even play it cooperatively and have a lot of fun. But the expansion greatly increases the variability and the fun and really fixes some of my key problems with the game, so I would definitely suggest getting both of them, especially if you enjoyed the core game. You have to get the expansion. It's going to make it only better. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.